We're taking you live to Cairo. We're looking at images of the streets in Cairo following clashes between protesters and riot police. Our correspondent Sherine Tadros is on standby, overlooking the scenes that we're just watching right now. Sherine, tell us what's led to this latest clash between police and protesters.
Yes, if you can hear me, Rida, what you're seeing right now is that the military police is actually moving into Tahrir Square with force, and they are trying to clear the square. This all happening just literally in the last 2 minutes or so. They are firing tear gas canisters at the protesters and up into the air, and people are running in all sorts of different directions.
And this, Sherine, follows a day or two of sit-ins in Tahrir Square. The police trying yesterday to clear the square of protesters, trying desperately to get the situation under control before the parliamentary elections that are scheduled in about a week or so. How much force is the police using, though? And yesterday they were said to be clearing the square themselves. Today they seem to be back in force.
Yes, I mean, what we saw actually on Saturday when they tried to do this is much less people. There are about 200 people when they tried to do it, and it was actually just the normal police. Now we're seeing the military police and riot police. They're in full riot gear. They have batons. As you can probably hear, they're firing into the air. I believe that is the sound of tear gas being fired into the air. It could also be rubber-coated steel bullets, which has been also a tactic they've been using. But you can see just the utter chaos. I mean, what is happening now is that they seem to be outnumbered. I don't know if you can see that. The cameraman should be showing you. Someone has actually been set on fire. Total chaos here in Tahrir. And really, as I was saying, they are completely outnumbered. You can hear what the people are saying. I'm just going to let you hear that for a second. They're saying the people demand the overthrow of the regime. Similar slogans, similar words, and we heard during the uprising, during the revolution. And now even more tear gas being fired. You can see they're firing the tear gas right into the protesters. Right into the protesters, right into the streets around the main circle where people are. And the protesters are now picking up the gas canisters and they're throwing them right back at the police. And they are moving in right now from one of the entrances, from Mahmoud Mustafa, one of the entrances into Tahrir. They haven't moved to. There are another 3 exits or entrances. People are flooding towards those exits, and the police are coming in more and more force. And that you can see as well, I can see right below me here, people are being beaten by the military police. There's an old man standing right in the middle of them, middle of the police, and he's being beaten as I speak by one of the batons. So completely chaotic situation. And right now what we're seeing are people moving towards the Egyptian Museum and Asr Nil Bridge. Those are the 2 main exits where people are moving towards. They are clearly trying to clear the square by force.
Quite extraordinary scenes that we are looking at live in Tahrir Square, Sherine. Scenes that follow a cabinet meeting that was chaired not so long ago, a couple of hours ago, by the Prime Minister himself, Haitham Sharaf, feeling the pressure, feeling the heat of what is going on in the streets, trying to bring the situation desperately under control. And as you say, the chants are getting louder and getting angrier towards the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces of Egypt. A lot of the demonstrators in the last 24 hours directing their anger at the leadership itself, calling for the overthrow of the de facto head of Egypt, and as well criticizing the government officials, calling them essentially thugs. What has led, though, to this direct scene of chaos? This all began as a peaceful sit-in. What has led the police to come out in such numbers today?
Well, clearly there was a decision made at that cabinet meeting where they were going to be discussing what the next tactics should be on the ground here. Clearly there was a decision made that force was going to be the next move here for the police to clear the square, and that is what we're seeing right now. There was talk of perhaps imposing a curfew, but you know what we're seeing right now is that as the tear gas is being fired into the people, as they're trying to clear the thousands of people in the square, they're coming back. I mean, they're being hit by this tear gas, and then they're retreating slightly, but then they're trying to come back into the square. So what is going to be the next move by the police? Because this tear gas tactic isn't quite working because of the sheer number and resolve of the protesters. This is just turning into a clear battle, protesters against the police. So it's unclear now exactly what the next move will be, but there has to be something else coming. So as we were saying, that the cabinet meeting for several hours, we didn't hear that it had actually taken any decision, but clearly we're seeing the decision being implemented here on the ground.
And